Welcome to Point Blank, brought to you by Fitz Roofing. I'm Brandon Strange of Sports Map Houston. He is Joel Blank of ESPN 97.5, 92.5. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe on the channel. Joel, welcome in. I want to talk some Rockets with you today. The Athletic this week is reporting that the number of teams that could be suitors for Victor Oladipo will likely be higher than anticipated because the trade value for Depot is lower than projected. So, Joel, considering Rafael Stone made an extra trade for Oladipo, making him the face, essentially, of the Harden deal, if the Rockets get an unimpressive haul for him, does that tip the scale on whether this was a successful or failed trade?
Oh, it absolutely does, Brandon. And I think that's where, from the get-go, I've been very clear in stating don't give Rafael Stone a passing grade on the Harden trade till all the pieces fall into place. And you mentioned part of it. One of it is those draft picks are going to be very low because Brooklyn and Milwaukee are going to be very good. So therefore, they're not going to be high first-round picks. You're not going to get a franchise player. Then when you start talking about the players involved, and we talked about this a while back, if you would have focused the trade on Jared Allen and Karis LeVert, you had two young players that you could build around, and when you put a Christian Wood in the mix, you have 3/5 of a starting lineup that could be with you for the next 5 to 7 years and really give you above average talent. So the fact that whether it was Tillman Fertitta saying I'm cutting the bottom line and I want a guy with an expiring contract, or Rafael Stone trying to get creative, Victor Oladipo has not panned out so far for this franchise. If you can get something for him now, it would be key. But the key is don't take on any more contracts after this season unless you know they're going to be players that are going to help you in the long run. Otherwise, you're best to let him walk, get the money off your books, cut your losses, and go forward, accepting the fact that you really got not a lot for one heck of a player in James Harden.
Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman debated something pretty interesting on their show related to this, and I want to get your thoughts. But before I do that, tell me why there's no debate about who Houstonians should call to get their roof replaced or repaired.
Well, it's got to be Fitz Roofing, Brandon, and it's simply because of the fact that they've extended it. It's not just Fitz Roofing, but they also do home repairs. From putting up a new fence in your yard to repairs in your attic or inside your house based on what happened with the storm, they do it all for you, and they can do it all by telling you what they can do for free. Free, no obligation inspection. It costs you nothing. They come to you, tell you what they can do and how much it's going to cost, and it benefits you every step of the way. 832-521-3001. Set up that free, no obligation inspection and find out why Fitz Roofing is making a difference one home at a time.
So like I said, Stephen A. and Max were debating something that directly relates to what you and I are talking about. They were arguing over who do the Rockets miss more, James Harden or Daryl Morey. Now, Joel, I'm going to preface this because I know you, so I'm going to keep you from. You can't say Les Alexander. You can't give me a C. So out of James Harden and Daryl Morey, who do the Rockets miss more right now?
It's James Harden, because James Harden was able to carry an entire team because of the way he played, and it wasn't the most advantageous style of play for the rest of the team involved, especially if you weren't superstar level. But James Harden could carry a team on a nightly basis. He could get you to the playoffs. Daryl Morey was great about putting some good pieces together, but at the end of the day, we all knew he was also capable of putting square pegs in round holes, and he left your cupboard absolutely bare at the end when he went for it and knew that he wouldn't be around to see all the picks he gave away and all the cap hell he created. So I think they miss James Harden more. And I think that James Harden is showing you in Brooklyn that he prefers to be in a situation where he doesn't necessarily have to be Batman. He could be Robin, but in a situation where there's more talent around him, he can really still excel, and he's an all-star caliber player. I think the Rockets desperately miss an all-star caliber player.
Indeed. And speaking of all-star caliber players, so again, we go back to Depot here. So Joel, I'm going to ask you, what's the minimum that the Rockets can get in return for Vic, and this is considered a success?
I think the minimum is a good young player and some extra draft picks so that you can continue to build for the future, because no matter what, you can have those low draft picks, but maybe 2 or 3 of those low draft picks can allow you to move up in a draft. Maybe a young player that you can procure from another team because they're making a playoff push. You've heard the Warriors, the Lakers, the Knicks, and other teams that even the Detroit Pistons may be interested. If that's the case, the more the merrier, because with each offer, the price should go up and the ability for the Rockets to actually get a decent return goes up as well. That's what you have to hope for right now, because the deadline's going to be upon us. And if you don't have multiple teams involved, you may face the harsh reality that he's going to finish the year on your roster, he's going to walk away, and the James Harden trade is going to basically give you nothing but draft picks.